Good morning, friends. Thank you so much for joining myself and Miss Haley for a special story time this morning. This is our One World, Many Stories story time, all about Children's Day Book Day. So this is a special day that everyone around the world celebrates. It's about children, it's about families, it's about reading. So hopefully you're watching this story time with your family as we read together. So this story time is going to have a lot of songs and books in different languages. So you're going to hear some English, you're going to hear some Spanish, you might even hear some French. So we're going to get started with my favorite song, Hello Friends. This song uses words in American Sign Language. So we're going to practice all of our words first. The word for friends, we start with our hand up and our palm facing out. We put our fingers together and our thumb over our palm. And then we give a little salute. So this is our word for friends. That's our word for hello. Pardon me. Our word for friends is we have our pointer fingers up and at the ready. We turn them into little hooks. We hook them together and switch them. So that's the word for friends. And then it's time to say hello. Let's put it all together. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. And now it's Miss Haley's turn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Haley, and thank you for joining Miss Alice and I for Dia de los Niños and Dia de los Libros, Children's Day, Book Day. And I'm going to be singing a Open Shut Them song, but in Spanish. So if you'd like to do it along with me, that would be great. So we'll start with our hands out wide. Abre, cierra, de una palmadita. Abre, cierra, mantén las juntitas. Sube, 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 hasta la barbilla ya. Abre la boquita, pero no metas los dedos. Good job. Now let's do it in English. Okay, ready? Open, shut them, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, put them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, crawl them, right up to your chin, chin, chin. Open wide your little mouth, but do not put them in. Good job, guys. Okay, now we're going to move right into our very first book called Book Fiesta, and it's Celebrate Children's Day Book Day, or Celebramos el Día de los Niños, el Día de los Libros. And this is by the person who actually came up with Children's Day Book Day, Pat Mora, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. And let's see who the publisher is real quick. Thank you for HarperCollins for letting us do this read aloud. Okay, Book Fiesta. One more page. One more page. There we go. Hooray! Today is our day. El Día de los Niños. Let's have fun today reading our favorite books. Tun tun. Viva! Hoy es nuestro día. El Día de los Niños. Nos vamos a divertir con nuestros libros favoritos. Tun tun. And the sign says, Children's Day, Book Day, El Día de los Niños, El Día de los Libros. We read in English and Spanish, in Chinese and Navajo too. We read by ourselves, we read with a friend. Leemos en inglés y en español, el chino y el navajo también. Leemos solitos o con un amigo. And we read at the library too. Tun tun. Y leemos en la biblioteca también. Tun tun. And it says today, April 30th, is El Día de los Niños. Our families tell us stories while we listen and play. Nuestras familias nos cuentan cuentos mientras escuchamos y jugamos. We read libros together in cars. In planes, and trains. Leemos libros juntos en autos, aviones y trenes. Tun, 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 tun. We read to our puppies and kittens and to lizards in our yard. Les leemos a nuestros perritos y gatitos y a las lagartijas del jardín. It's okay to mess up, everybody. We read riding an elephant. Leemos montados en un elefante. Or sailing with a whale, o navegando con una ballena. We read in a long submarine. Leemos en un submarino largo. Or floating in a hot air balloon, o paseando en un globo enorme. Then, snug in our beds, we read to the moon. Y en nuestras camitas le leemos a la luna. That's my favorite page. And fly away in our books. Tun, tun. Y volamos con nuestros libros. Tun, tun. And that's it. And we have a little letter back here from Pat Mora, who created this day, if you guys want to check this out and read it. And now I'm going to pass things on to Miss Alice once again.
All right, next we will be singing a little lullaby all about how much we love everybody. This song is going to use English, Spanish, French, and we even added some Mandarin Chinese. So let's think about all the different ways we might say I love you to somebody. In English, we say I love you. In Spanish, we can say yo te amo. In French, you can say je t'aime. And in Mandarin Chinese, you can say wo ai ni. So we're going to sing a little lullaby using all of those words. Yo te amo, yo te amo. All day long I'll sing this little song for you. Yo te amo, yo te amo. Darling, I love you. Well, let's move on to French next. Je t'aime, je t'aime. All day long I'll sing this little song for you. Je t'aime, je t'aime. Darling, I love you. And now for our Mandarin Chinese. Wo ai ni, wo ai ni. All day long I'll sing this little song for you. Wo ai ni, wo ai ni. Darling, I love you. Very good. If you happen to know any other ways that you can say I love you, feel free to add them in the song at home. All right, so next we are going to not sing, we're going to read one of my favorite books. This is Junas Jar. It's written by Jane Bach and illustrated by Felicia Hoshino, and it's read with permission by Lee and Low Books. Okay. Juna's family always had a large jar of kimchi in their fridge. After they finished eating all the kimchi, Juna sometimes got to keep the empty jar. Juna loved to take the jar and go on adventures with her best friend Hector. They went to the park near their apartment building to collect colorful rocks and small bugs. Once, Hector found a green caterpillar. Juna worried that it wouldn't have what it needed to make a cocoon, so they let it go. One morning, Juna went looking for Hector to go on another kimchi jar adventure. She ran downstairs to his grandmother's apartment. "Hi, Abuelita," Juna said to Hector's grandmother. "Can Hector come out to play?" "Hola, Juna," Hector's grandmother said, giving her a hug. "I'm sorry, Hector is not here." Then she told Juna that his parents had come the day before and taken Hector to live with them in a big house far away. Hector had wanted to say goodbye, but Juna was not home. Juna was very sad. When she got back home, her big brother Minho tried to cheer her up. He took Juna to Mr. Lee's pet shop and bought her a small fish. Juna watched the fish swim in circles in her jar. That night, when everyone else was asleep, Juna put on a diving mask and fins and dove into the water. Look how much bigger the fish got. It's huge! Juna's fish took her everywhere. They swam with sea turtles, played with dolphins, and discovered a giant clam. Can you help me find my friend Hector? Juna asked her fish. They swam to a dark underwater cave. Hector wasn't there, but they found huge snakes slithering in the sand. When Juna got closer, she saw that they were actually tentacles. Juna wondered if they belonged to an octopus or a giant squid. I wish Hector was here, Juna thought. He knows everything about animals. By the next day, Juna's fish had grown so big, its mouth nearly touched its tail. Oppa, my fish needs more space, Juna said to Minho. With his help, Juna put her fish in the aquarium in their living room. Juna's jar was empty again. What do you think she should put in it this time? Do you think she's going to do another fish? Or maybe find a different caterpillar? Let's find out. Minho had an idea. He gave Juna a small bean plant he had grown at school for science class. They found some soil and carefully put the plant in the jar. That night, when everyone else was asleep, Juna put on hiking boots and climbed down the plant into a lush green rainforest. Juna swung on vines, climbed a tree with a sloth, and sang with howler monkeys. Have you seen my friend Hector? She asked them all. One monkey pointed to the river and jumped away. As Juna got closer to the water, she saw that the rocks in the river began to move. They weren't rocks at all! It was the back of an alligator or a crocodile. She wasn't sure which one it was. I wish Hector was here, she thought. He would know. By the next day, Juna's plant had almost reached the ceiling. Oppa, my plant grew too big for my jar, Juna said. Minho helped Juna put the plant into a large pot on their balcony. And Juna's jar was empty again. Minho and Juna walked to the park. A cricket chirped in the bushes. Juna quietly snuck up to the cricket and cupped her hands around it. Then she placed it gently into her jar. Minho helped her find twigs and leaves, and they put them in the jar too. When they got home, Juna punched holes in the lid of the jar so the cricket could breathe. That was very clever of her. That night, when everyone else was asleep, Juna put on goggles and a helmet and hopped onto the cricket's back. Juna and the cricket rode through the night sky together. They flew over tall buildings that looked like giant steps leading to the moon. They followed a trail of cars that lit up the hill like a string of holiday lights. Then the cricket landed on a windowsill of a big house. Juna peeked into the window. There was Hector, asleep in his bed. And on the bedside table was the kimchi jar Juna had given him. Hector looked like he was having happy dreams. Juna smiled. Bye, Hector, she whispered. Then she hopped onto the cricket's back and flew home. By the next day, the cricket's antenna had poked through the holes in the jar's lid. Oppa, the cricket grew too big for my jar too, Juna said. So Minho and Juna walked to the park and set the cricket free. Juna's jar was empty again. Juna looked around the park and wondered what she could put in her jar next. I wish, she thought. Look what I found, a girl behind her said. Can we put it in your jar? Juna turned around. A green inchworm was wriggling up the girl's arm. Juna smiled and held out her jar. The end. That was Junas Jar. And now it's time for Miss Haley again.
Hi everyone, I'm back. And this next song is called Petite Escargot. And I said that like I'm Spanish, but actually it's French. So Petite Escargot is the French way to say it, kind of. And so this one is about a little snail who has his home on his back. And when it rains, he gets really happy. And then he pops his little head out. So we've got some hand movements that I'll show you. And so this is the English version of the story, and then I'll sing the French lyrics. So we have our little snail going up our arm, and it carries on his back his little house. And then as soon as it rains, he's all happy. He comes out of his shell. And those are all of our hand movements. So I hope you'll do this along with me, and we're going to do it 2 times in French. Okay, here we go. Petit escargot portait sous son dos sa maisonnette. Aussitôt qu'il pleut, il est tout heureux. Il sort sa tête. Good job! I'm going to do it one more time. Ready? Petit escargot portait sous son dos sa maisonnette. Aussitôt qu'il pleut, il est tout heureux. Il sort sa tête. Good job! That was a fun one. And if you want to do that in English too, you can always make up your own lyrics and tell a story with your snail. Okay, now we're going to read our very last book called Elephant in the Dark by an Iranian poet named Rumi. And we also have an Iranian author, Mina Jabaherbin, and pictures by Eugene Yelchin. And thank you to, let's see who the publisher is. And if you don't know, usually the publisher is on the inside jacket, but I don't see it there. So we're going to turn the page. Oh, it's not there either. One more time. Look at that. It's Scholastic Press. So we learned it together. So thank you so much to Scholastic Press for letting us do this read aloud. Elephant in the Dark. Oh, that's a really pretty picture. Merchant Ahmad had brought a mysterious creature all the way from India. Looks like he's keeping it in there. The news spread fast through the village. What could the huge beast be? The villagers ran to the merchant's barn next to his house to see this strange creature. But the doors were locked, and the merchant, tired from his journey, was sound asleep. The rowdy crowd woke the merchant. He stuck his head out of the window and shouted, "It's too dark in the barn to see anything. Go home and let me sleep." Well, okay then. But no one went home. Instead, they decided to see the beast for themselves. What's he doing? Looks like he's halfway through the window. The first villager snuck into the dark barn. He tripped on a bucket of water and fell on the animal's long, slithery nose. This startled the villager and sent him running. Outside, he gathered himself, puffed his chest, and said, "The creature is like a snake." Is that right? Guess we'll find out. Next, a short man entered and reached very slowly into the dark. He wrapped his arms around one of the animal's legs, then rushed out to report. "People, the creature is not like a snake at all. Oh no, it's round and tall, like a tree trunk." That does kind of look like a big elephant's foot, doesn't it? A third villager climbed inside the dark barn. The beast swept its huge ear against her face, and the woman ran out. "The creature is neither like a snake nor a tree trunk," she panted. It's like a fan, a huge flappy fan. The three villagers argued excitedly. Others scratched their heads and disagreed. Each offered such different views. The fight escalated and the remaining villagers stole into the dark barn to find out the truth for themselves. It's like a leathery jug of water. It's definitely sharp like a plow. It's skinny and hairy like a paintbrush. It sounds like a horn. All day long, they called each other names and fought to prove each other wrong. Into the night, no one listened, but everyone shouted and shoved. Even the baby is shouting. When the sun finally rose the next morning, Merchant Ahmad led the beautiful, gentle creature to the river. But everyone was still too busy fighting to notice the large gray elephant. And no one noticed that they knew each knew only a small piece of the truth. Looks like some people got to find out what it really was, but there's probably still a bunch of people who don't know because they didn't bother to listen. Okay, that's the end. Thank you all so very much for listening, and now I'm going to pass it back to Miss Alice.
Okay, so Miss Haley and I have created a really neat craft for you this week. You're going to be creating some Chinese tangrams. So tangrams are a special puzzle using shapes. So these are all of the shapes that you'll be getting, and your challenge is to use these shapes to make other shapes. So here we have some triangles, we have a square, maybe a parallelogram, and your first challenge is to use all of these shapes and turn them into one large square. So after you get the square down, there's a whole bunch of other patterns in your craft packet that you can try out, a whole bunch of different animals. There's a rocket and a house. So you can try these out, and there's a whole bunch of other designs you can find online as well. So you can pick up your packet to create your tangrams, either here in the children's department or at the library's drive-up window. And now Miss Haley is going to be singing a lovely song to finish us off.
Okay, everybody, we're going to finish out our story time for Dia de los Niños, Dia de los Libros with a goodbye song. And it's the same one we usually do for bilingual story time. So it's a call and response song where I'll say something and then I'll point to you and you'll repeat it. So we'll do that in English first and then our Spanish version, adios. Ready? Goodbye, so long to you, my friend. Stay well and fine till we meet again. Good job. Okay, now we're gonna do it in Spanish. Ready? Adios, adios, a ti, mi amigo. Cuídate muy bien. Nos vemos otra vez. Great job. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.